Hello, everyone, and welcome to another week of the Authentic You Power Talks. I'm really excited because today we are going to be talking about procrastination. And I know we've all been affected by this, but I'm going to get into it a little bit deeper. Why are we procrastinating and how we can stop doing it? And that's another way that we're going to stop getting in our own way. All right, ladies and gents, we're going to get into it. We are going to talk about procrastination and how to stop it. And we all know that feeling. We've had it at some point or another. And if someone is saying to you that, oh no, that never happens to me, I'll tell you they're lying because it happens to everyone. Let's say you have some sort of task in front of you. Maybe it's sending an email or a project to start, or it's a call to make, or something that you're knowing you need to do, but you're dreading doing it. What do you choose to do instead? Clean the garage or sit down and scroll on social media for hours on end. Or you just start doing this self-talk, telling yourself you'll be ready for it tomorrow, not today. It's going to be a tomorrow thing. I just need to rest today. And I'm all for listening to yourself, but there's two ways to look at it. When you're totally tuned in to what your needs are, you'll know when you're tricking yourself. But we have gotten really good at tricking ourselves. We have been doing that probably for a lifetime. But I'm asking you to go a little bit deeper. So when you're trying to convince yourself, oh, I'll feel ready tomorrow, or I'll call that person at the end of the week, or I'll just leave this list here and I'll eventually get to it. Ask yourself, what's really going on here? Could you do it now, or are you intentionally putting it off? And I want you to think about that, because that's where the awareness starts kicking in, and that's where the magic happens. So when we're thinking, it's not that you don't want to do it, but it's there. It's not that you're lazy, but it's kind of, you just can't get your head around having to do this task. But do you want to know what it is? Again, that's why it's so fitting for our conversation. It's because your brain is hardwired to protect you from discomfort. We are set up that way. And in order to do this, we as human beings do really funny things in order to do it. We will twist it around. We can logically know we should be doing it, but somewhere along the way, it's not connecting. Your mind is saying, I should do that, but somewhere it's not feeling right. And there's a twist to it, because we don't just procrastinate the boring, unpleasant stuff. There's times where we procrastinate things that would make our life amazing. I want to say that again. There's times where we are procrastinating things that would make our life amazing, like applying for your dream job. I see this with clients all the time, or starting their own business, or trying to run the marathon, or to do something really big. They will make tons of excuses. I call it excuse management starts kicking in. All these reasons. It could be applying for your dream job, which I've seen with many clients. They start telling themselves that they can't do it. Or they tell themselves, well, maybe it's a little bit too big. Or maybe it's another job that I need to get to. And I see it a lot with launching businesses. So I end up helping a lot of people bridge that piece for themselves. It was kind of funny. This was used. I was speaking to a group and used the example. I think it's funny. I'm going to share it with you. And this is my role. And anyone who's been showing up at my talks, they'll know this, that I'm kind of like the electricity that turns on the energy to get everyone pumped up, but everyone has to know what appliance they are. They need to know, but my job is not to tell you what appliance you are. My job is just to put on an energy so you can start doing the things that you're supposed to be doing. So applying for that job, or starting that business on the side, or committing to a full health goal, or learning how to just say yes to big opportunities. But sometimes we get scared and we start procrastinating big opportunities to make a move towards a big opportunity. It doesn't mean that the opportunity isn't there. It's definitely there. And I would say this, when you understand that it's there, it's actually quite exciting. But guess what? Remember I told you we're hardwired to start protecting ourselves. So it's big, bright, it's awesome. It's all there for you. And who's getting in their own way? You are. Because all of a sudden your mind starts saying, oh my gosh, this is a big risk. What if I fail? What if I succeed? What does that mean? Does that mean I have to change my life completely? Does that mean I need to upset people that I love? Does that mean that I am going to have a powerful voice and I'm taking a stance? Am I ready for that if I haven't lived that way? It's the difference between living big versus living small. When you understand that it's you that's getting in your own way and adding the delay, because your nervous system doesn't know the difference. It doesn't know the difference between a life-threatening danger and a life-changing dream. The feeling that you receive inside is about uncertainty. It doesn't feel safe. So instead of moving forward towards things, you start pulling back. You start telling yourself later, like, it'll be better later. I'm not ready yet. I'm not ready. Later. I'll do it later. I want to do it logically. I want to do it. I will do it later. Your intent could be that you'll do it later. But my fear, I don't want to even say fear. My concern is later turns into a month, later turns into 6 months, later turns into a year. And then we miss an opportunity that was totally meant for you. So you could shine. So you could figure out, back to that funny analogy about the appliances. So you could figure out what appliance you're meant to be. I know it sounds silly, but it's so simple. We all have different things that we're supposed to bring to the table. But if we're procrastinating, if we're not sure, it feels uncertain and we feel insecure about something and we defer it. Now, why do you think we're deferring it as much as we are? Why do we defer it instead of taking action? We start to delay making moves because we are so scared we're going to fail. And I've heard this many times, or we're scared we're going to be judged for doing something that maybe our families don't agree with, or maybe your really close friends will not get it. But once you start working that muscle and actually understanding what you're doing, it's extremely powerful because you can be like, what am I really scared of here? And what's going to happen if I actually make a move and I do take action? And we're going to talk about ways that we can do that, taking action, how we start moving the dial. And it's usually just one little step a day, but we'll get into that. Or the reason why we might push it off, it might just feel too big for us or too vague. I am going to have a multi-million-dollar business. Well, that's cool. That's the desire. But how are you going to get there? What are the steps you are going to take to move you closer and closer into that space? Sometimes when we get too vague, it really gets tricky. Let's go to the health journey. I'm going to lose 50 pounds. Cool. You're going to lose 50 pounds. How am I going to do that? So you got to break it down. And when you break it down, it seems a little more achievable. And it's easier to stick to the plan. It's easier not to procrastinate. But 50 pounds feels like a really big thing. Let's say the scale's not moving the way that you want it to move, then all of a sudden you could be really just pushing things off because you don't believe that it actually can happen. And this other one that I really want to call out because I've seen it many times with people that I've worked with, we're waiting for a perfect moment, the right time, the right opportunity, because we get so locked into this perfectionist mentality that we start creating these fears and we get into a place of analysis paralysis. We really never make a move. We're always waiting. But the reality is, what are we waiting for? This is your life to live. And if you keep pushing it off, then you're never going to actually be able to build some traction into new space. Because procrastination, the longer we feed it, the heavier it gets. And in all that, think about your beautiful energy and your space, your mental capacity. If you deal with something right away, just do it, like Nike. That's how I used to plow through lots of work. Just do it. Then that clutter, that emotional clutter, that noise that you have around you, it's gone. But if you don't do it and you keep pushing it off from week to week or day to day, it's still there. It's kind of like how I was saying with the housework or going for the walk or whatever it may be while you have me in your ear. That pile of mail is still there. So it's creating clutter in your mind because you haven't dealt with it. So it's better to actually just address it. Get those low hanging fruit, get them out of the way right away. And understand, this is why I really wanted to have this conversation, is that for you to understand that procrastination doesn't mean that you're lazy. I really want to stress that. It's deeper. What are you putting off? What are you a little scared of? What do you think that, oh, yes, there's boring tasks that need to be done, but get those out of the way. When you tackle them as you go, it's not a big thing. But I'm more interested in the ones that are these big opportunities. Are you going to take the leap? Are you going to jump and do what's required to get you to these beautiful goals that you desire, or to allow you to really be who you're meant to be? If you keep putting off these great opportunities that are presenting in front of you, then how are you ever supposed to unlock that for yourself? How are you ever supposed to know who you're supposed to be? Because that's how it works. There's opportunities that are presented all the time, but will you take them? Or are you delaying? Or are you believing that it's for other people and not for you? I'm here to say it is for you. We just have to identify that we're not just pushing it off. There's something deeper in there as to why. Do you think you're going to fail? Do you think you're not worthy of it? Do you think, oh gosh, that's going to bring too much attention? You got to get past it so you can actually do what you're supposed to do. I'm going to pause here. I'm going to bring my guests up. I had two guests if you guys want to come up, because I'm going to open it up right now before I get into how to break the procrastination loops. So I'll leave it open. I had two in queue. Does anyone want to come back up? I guess I'm in. Here comes Kayla, and let's see what Kayla has to say.
Hola, how are you?
How's it going?
I just started today
Excellent. Welcome.
a couple of years ago, and I
Mm.
was really too successful. And then I just got into my husband had liver cirrhosis, and so I was nursing him, and then he passed away 2 years ago.
I'm sorry, my dear.
So now I'm getting back to taking care of myself.
And I think that it's probably a bit of a shift, right? After you're in this transition, how is that going for you?
I'm starting to embrace my transition.
It's so beautiful. And what are you learning? What are you learning in this transition?
For me, it is okay. Living life, because life goes on, right? So
Mhm.
the most important thing is being healthy, independent, fit, and I have a really great community. So I have all the support and just living life to the fullest.
I love that.
Yeah.
And you said something else that I think is really important is community. You have community, and that's important. We need people. We're humans. We don't need to be operating alone.
Absolutely. Yes, I do. I'm very grateful and blessed.
And I'm grateful and blessed that you showed up on my stage today. So what's your goal? Do you want to lose a lot of weight, or is there other goals that you have in play?
For right now, see, I'm 132 pounds and it's okay, but I want to be even more.
Oh, ripped. Whew. All right. That's great.
I'm 68 and there are type of dresses that I really like, which is like I like dresses that are more fitting. And so I want to be, I like wearing those athlete outfits. They're long, but they're nice. It's sort of very classy. I like classy things. I can wear them. I have a girlfriend. She's in
Mhm.
her 70s and she's totally perfect. But her discipline with food is incredible. I want to accomplish that.
That's pretty good. Now, do you feel like her discipline with food is incredible, but is she living her life? She figured out her balance. Everyone's got their thing. That's
Both,
excellent.
we, we both travel a lot and we do a lot of things together. She is living her life and incredibly disciplined. And she
Mm.
enjoys, she would go on a trip. She will come back, maybe she'll fly back from an international flight. She'll get home, put her bag, and she'll go to the grocery store and she'll buy her fish, she'll buy her vegetables, and she'll come and cook her dinner.
Oh, nice. So she's not procrastinating. She's disciplined. That makes a big difference.
Very disciplined. And it's all about health and
Mm-hmm.
fitness. And I am 68. Even though I come from a family of diabetic and all, I have managed to be very healthy and fit. I've always
Mm-hmm.
managed to keep maintain 120 pounds, 123. I want to get back to that. I'm very good with my I'm very disciplined with my trainings. I work out with a trainer 3 times a week.
Wow, that is disciplined. And I think that, thank you so much for coming up. I love your share. And I think that there's something that everybody needs to understand is that it's all relative to the individual. And if you have specific goals that's going to make you feel good, then you go for it. But I love what you said. There's a piece here around discipline. You're not putting things off. You're doing things now, and we've talked about this, doing things now that your future self is going to high five you. I was doing sit-ups this morning and I'm like, my high five, my future self is high fiving. They're like, God, girl, thank God you decided to do some sit-ups. We got to get you back on track. And many of you already know my little dance in the mirror routine in the morning. And it was hilarious, guys, little sidebar. You remember I told you I do it by myself. It's the best workout ever. I dance in the mirror in between. I do weight sets and I'm like dancing. And it's such a different vibe because when you're in a gym, whether or not you like it or not, there's a mask, right? Oh, I've got this. I know how to bench press and I can do all this stuff. But when you're by yourself, there's no one to show anything to. So you get to be fun and goofy. And I'm like, oh my God, I am super fun. I totally look forward to dancing with myself in the mirror every day and getting a sweat on. It's awesome. But the part that was hilarious today was I was I'm looking in the mirror and I'm doing my thing in between the set. And I've got my ball cap on. And then I was literally having a conversation with myself in the mirror. But then my son came into the garage, but I didn't hear him. I had my headphones on and I'm like really giving it. And I was just like, almost like doing a Rocky chant kind of thing. I was in it all. And he just looked at me and he's like, what is going on here? And I'm like, you have to leave right now. This is my time and I'm not going to give up that time. So I think that my whole point is discipline, however that works for you. That you could be working with a trainer for 3 days a week, or you could have this deeper connection with self as you're going through this. I don't know. I feel like I'm working out with myself. Hey, I think I'm super fun. And I love it. I can't even tell you how much I love it. But, anyways, the bigger message here, however you want to get to it, discipline is definitely a part of it. I'm doing it in a way that it's fun, but I'm disciplined. I'm still showing up. I'm not putting off my workouts to do it later. I can commit to this for myself, but I'm enjoying it. And the overall message, I say this all the time, health is wealth. When you have health in your life, you can do wonderful things with people you love, or go see the world, or be able to go for walks or go swimming. that needs to be in the equation somewhere, about really understanding how important health is. It's not a secondary or a nice to have, or I want to look like this. This is my image. Yes, that is a part of it. But the way that your body functions is so important. It is the tool, it's the vessel that gets you from A to B. It allows you to feel and experience the world. We need to take care of it, however you want to take care of it. Like you can see, I have my own little dance party every morning. And I think my family doesn't even understand what I'm doing, but I love it. And I get a sweat on. So that's even better. Like it's good. And however you guys want to do it for yourself, just make sure that you're committed and that you're disciplined and you keep at it. Like you're not pushing things off, because the future you is high-fiving you right now when you start going to the gym. And it's not now, because it takes time. It takes great decisions every day. It's not putting off these things to yourself over and over again because you're tired. Because guess who has to pick up those pieces? Your future self. If you keep procrastinating, your future self is going to be like, hey, dude, what happened? Why didn't you do anything? Why did you go for a walk? Why didn't you go for that job? Right? So I want you to think about that today. When you're making these decisions, or if you're pushing things off, what would your future self say? And I guarantee they're either going to high five you or they're going to give you a smack and say, snap out of it. We're going to go into some tips today, how we can break that pattern a little bit more. Okay, I have up, and then I'm going to go into the tips, and then I have Peter as well. And then, yeah, we'll do that. Let's see.
Hello.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going all right. Good.
Afternoon. So, what are your thoughts today?
Well, the reason I wanted to talk is because you mentioned about the gym and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And some of us lag going to the gym for a couple of reasons. Like you say, we do procrastinate. And the thing is, sometimes it all depends because of your health, or because me personally, I have problems with my back. I have two broken bones in my lower back, and I have 4 bones crushing my nerves in my mid back. And I'm lucky that I have a pain management doctor that does a procedure on my back that helps me not feel that pain every day like I usually do, for at least for a few months. So when that happens, I take advantage of it, and I go walking Monday through Friday, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I go to the gym. I don't
Excellent.
lift as much as I used to because I have those problems with my back. But the thing too is, you think, well, that's good that you're doing all that, but the main reason I'm doing it is because I'm 46 years old. I have a niece that has a kid, and that kid, she's only 1 year and 5 months or 6 months. Anyway, she has an older son too, which is 3 years old. I think to myself, I would like to be there for my great niece's 15 or 16 years old party.
I
And
love this.
the only way I'm gonna be able to do that is if I get, pardon my language, but if I get out of my ass and
Yeah.
walk and go do this, because I put her picture on my phone. So when I walking or at the gym, I look at it and I'm saying to myself, I'm doing this for her. I'm doing this for her, even though at the same time I'm doing it for myself because I'm getting in better health. I'm overweight, I'm obese, or whatever you want to call it. But I'm also thinking, okay, I'm 46 years old. She's one something years old. And I want to be there, probably, hopefully, if I could be there for her when she gets married. And if
Oh,
she
I
has her
love it.
kids herself later on, then I could be there to see my great niece or nephew and stuff like that. So that's one thing that I seen that motivates me, that I feel like
Yeah.
we need to set goals, because you got to think not only how it fits you, but how it fits the people around you, your family or your friends and stuff like that. Because every decision we make affects someone somehow. Even if it fits you, obviously it's going to fit you all the time. But you don't think about how it fits the other people around you.
Yeah.
If you're sick and stuff like that, there's 2 roads to go about it. Because recently, a few years back, I got shot. I was just at the wrong place at the wrong time.
Yeah.
When I was in the hospital, I was thinking to myself, there's two roads I could go about it. One, I could say to myself, oh, because I got shot in my lower leg. And as we speak, I have titanic metal rod in my lower leg. So
Wow.
when I was getting better, there was two roads. Like I said, I was thinking, one, I could say to myself, oh, poor me, I'm not going to be able to walk. Oh, why they shot me? To this day, I don't know who shot me. This happened back in 2012. But
Wow.
the road I took, I say, screw this. I'm gonna walk. I'm gonna push myself, even though it's painful. I'm gonna walk and I'm gonna do this because I want to go back to work. I want to do this for myself, and that's what I did a few years. Now that I have problems with my back, I'm thinking the same thing, but at the same time, I'm thinking about my great niece. I want to be there when she's older. I want to be there. Hopefully, she has a family. I would like to see that family as well. That's what I tell people is that if we control our minds, we control our bodies. Because if there's some people that when you're old, people say, oh, I'm starting to feel this way because I'm already old, I'm already up in age. But you're telling yourself that. And if we tell that to yourself,
I loved your share for so many different reasons. And this is what I'm saying that is so special about this space. I'm sorry you got shot. That you don't know who did it. So there's a whole thing there. But the fact that you are still fighting for yourself and you're still really doing it, you want to live that life because you're so deserving. And I love the part, literally, I was talking about your future self. That is your future self having the conversation, saying, hey, you want to be here when she gets married? Do you want to be here for grandbabies? Do you want to be here and be healthy and not be a burden on other people? Think about that. When you understand that piece of it, to me, that is extremely healthy because you're understanding the decisions that you make right now have a direct impact on your future self and the life that you will live. So I want to say thank you for sharing that. I think it's extremely powerful. I think we need to understand that you have to make the choice, even when it's hard. Sometimes it's hard. Sometimes it's, gosh, like the poor guy that just came on, he was shot. And he could have just said, yeah, my life's done. No, he chose to dig deep and keep going. If that's not inspiring, I don't know what is. And we've all had those moments where you've had to dig a little bit deeper and it's tough to build the momentum. But I promise you, if you keep doing it, you start moving that train and it starts getting faster and faster. But if you stop, then there's no movement. And procrastination and all these things, that becomes this heavy boulder. And then you look at your life and it kind of passed you by. And we don't want that. So we really want to make sure that we're moving in that direction, whatever direction that is for you. But that's why we don't want to procrastinate. And like I said, procrastination isn't just about laziness. It's about something deeper. You're trying to protect yourself from other hurts, protect yourself from rejection. We want to make sure that we have that awareness so we can stop doing it. What do I do to stop procrastination? What is part of my process? So there's a couple of things that I do. I have learned to simplify the process and to create systems that work. So I've used the example where I'm dancing in the mirror and I'm doing all this stuff. I'm using this as one example, but it can be for anything. But I want you to think about it for yourself. For me, I have to walk the dog every morning anyway. So I put on a weighted vest. I go walk the dog. I come back. I just put the vest down and I go straight into the garage. And then I do my workout when my little dance party with myself. The part that I love about that is that the system is so easy that I don't have to think about anything. I don't need to look for a bag. I don't need to look about where are the weights? What do I need to bring? Where are my running shoes? None of that is going on. So even if, let's say, you're not working out in the gym, what is the system that you have in place for yourself to simplify that process? Do you have your gym bag in your car? Do you have it where you don't need to think about anything? And the same thing could be with your meal prep. The same thing could be with, I don't know, whatever activities. And when you're an entrepreneur, which I am, you really have to be good at this, right? So you really have to create these systems that work for you and your family so it doesn't feel burdensome. It doesn't feel like, oh God, I got to do this, I got to do that, I got to do that. It's just because honestly, that creates overwhelm. And for me, that creates frustration and put it off. I'll do it later. I'll do it later because I'm tired. But if it's the system is so simple that I don't even need to think about it, it's happening. So that's one thing I do. And the other part is, this is something simple, like tidying up my kitchen before I come down. I didn't do that before. I was not doing that. I was like, this is blowing up. I'm like, I get ahead of it with all the kids and what I was not doing that. But something has shifted in me where I tell myself, I love myself enough that when I come down in the morning, I want to have a clean kitchen. So if that means I take 5 minutes before I go to bed to do the wipe down, do whatever, I can't even tell you the joy that happens in that case. So it is really about, do you love yourself enough to do it now instead of putting it off? Because that idea of your future self is going to be like, oh, that sucks, man. I had to come down and clean all these coffee cups in order to be able to have a cup of coffee. That's not going to work. And I'm using these as object lessons, but I want you to understand it can apply to any part of your life. So it could be your food prep. It could be emails at work. It could be projects. Like, do what you can do now so your future self isn't going to be feeling overwhelmed later. And the problem with overwhelm is that it builds up. So remember, and that's another tip that I do, I will do little things as I go. So if I am somewhere where I can tackle something right away, I do it now because I don't want it to build up where I am overwhelmed. And I'll use house cleaning because I think this is a good example for anyone. You can anything. But I used to believe that I would have to build up all my house cleaning to the weekend. And when I would do that, that's procrastinating little things during the day. I would do that thinking that that was going to make it easier. I just tackle it for a couple hours and clean. But what that did was cause more overwhelm, resentment, frustration, because I'm like, oh my gosh, like I wanted doing this on my time off instead of learning to do little pieces every day where my weekends are free. Whatever that is for you, just remember, if you create systems that work for you, or you simplify processes, or you do a little bit every day, and it could be just like, hey, I'm just from a simplifying perspective, I'm using the home just because I think it's easy for everyone to understand. If there's a plate there, go put it in the dishwasher. Run the dishwasher at night so then it's clean and ready to go for the morning. It's a fresh start. These are little things, but believe it or not, they take up mental space. And the more you push those things off, it doesn't mean that they go away. It just gets bigger and bigger, and then it causes this deeper level of overwhelm. Okay, I have a couple of tips for you. That's me, and I love to chat with my future self. Like honestly, when I was doing my sit-ups today, I was like, "Oh my gosh, my future self is saying, good on you, Kristina, because you're getting older and we need your body to be intact." Like, did you know that as we get older, that weight training is super important? It's super important. Why? So our muscle, not only for our muscles, but our bone strength and osteoporosis, and making sure that we are still showing up for ourselves. That is my future self saying, hey, remember this? And I'm like, okay, I got it, sister. I'm doing some sit-ups for you today. And it felt great. And I'm going to show up for myself again tomorrow. Okay. All right. So I'm going to just say, and now I have 3 guests, and I'm going to say 5 little quick things for you, and then I'll bring my guests up and then we'll close. Okay. So it's like what I see 2-minute rule is, you want to make sure that you deal with the tasks that are often like, it depends who you are. Maybe you want to do the hardest task first, or you want to do the easiest tasks. I actually like to do the easiest tasks because they just get things off. And I'm thinking of emails, like blow through the easy ones first and then have block time to do the bigger part. And you can apply that for any situation. The other one is baby steps. Chunk it down into bite-sized pieces. And, no one to write a book all at once, but did you do a couple of pages a day? Another thing is, believe this is a great one. Count backwards from 5. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then launch into something. What that does, it stops the overthinking. So sometimes when we're feeling really overwhelmed and we push it off, and the reason why we're pushing off is sometimes we're exhausted. You want me to do another thing, another decision, another, project? Can't. I'm tapped out. Break the thought pattern and do a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 and see what shifts. You might be able to get one little thing in there. Or maybe it's another one where you tie it to a reward. Treat yourself after something. And a treat doesn't always need to be food, but I kind of like food, but I'm not. But yeah, a walk. It could be a coffee. It could be a favorite song. Maybe it's a new t-shirt. But there is a reward thing. There's a whole thing about Pavlov's dog. There was a dog that every time he heard a bell, he would know that it's time to eat. And even when there wasn't food there, he heard the bell and he would still want to eat. So the reward is the same idea. If you know that you're going to get a reward, you're always going to be willing to do the work in order to get the reward. It's the positive association with your brain. So it's something that's to think about. And we've done a lot of talk about your future self. Telling you, your future self has lots to say. And I would ask you, what would your future self say to you right now? Would they be high-fiving you, or would they be like, come on, girl, come on, guy, you got to get going. We need to get ourselves set up for the next 10 years. I want to be able to still go for walks and, from on stages and to do what I want to do. I want to do that. But I want to feel good about myself. And remember, quotation, feeling good about yourself is all relative to the individuals. So I do not want you measuring yourself to other people. I want you measuring yourself to the version of yourself of yesterday. Do you feel better today? Do you feel good about yourself today? Are you proud of yourself today? Did you do something that really helped you move the dial? High five. That is amazing. And then you keep building off of that. So I really want you to sit with that, because I think sometimes we get so caught up in, it's got to be this way. No, the only person that you got to make sure that you're holding accountable is you, to yourself. Don't compare. Don't look at other stuff. Are you feeling better than you did yesterday? And are you making better choices for yourself today? Okay. All right, we'll pause there. I've got Peter. I'm going to bring Peter up, and then I've got Sarah, and then we'll call it a close for ce soir.
Call it a
Hey, how's it going?
great talk. I definitely agree with the doing the easy stuff first. 'Cause sometimes for me, it's kind of a primer, right? If I don't want to just jump into something, especially if I'm feeling like a bit lazy, which is more to admit, getting going with some of the simpler tasks kind of gets marks going off of my brain, and I just keep going with that momentum. But I'm for procrastination, Peter. Really good for taking stuff that I need to be doing, procrastinating, and doing other stuff, like doing an extra walk with the dog, or you name it, whatever it is, putting away the dishes, what laundry, whatever it is, I'll do something else instead of the thing I need to really be doing, right? Just so I absolve myself of guilt, right? But it's the thing that I need to be doing doesn't get done. Case in point, you're perfectly placed in my life, because tonight, I'm ruminating over this. I shouldn't say damn, but this doggone voiceover that I do, right? That I've been hired to do.
Awesome.
And what to do? But it's one of my least favorite types. So it's a video PSA, and it's a lot of information. Most voiceovers that I've done, at least, I can memorize the script. I look at the video and I can just rock with it. I put myself in the scene and I rock out. This is instructional, right? And the script is so long, I have to read it. And with the thing and the
Yeah.
ADHD, it's
Mm-hmm.
really bothering me, Christine. I mean, you said
Mm-hmm.
fear. I'm gripped with fear. I'm all of a sudden, I'm that third or fourth grade Pete who got laughed at when he stood up in front of the
Mm-hmm.
class to read. So I'm essentially reading out loud because the script's too long to memorize.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been putting it off. So what I'm going to do after this talk, listen to me very carefully, is I'm going to piece it off.
Yes, I was going to say that. Yes.
One of the great things about this community is instinct, especially with you.
Mm-hmm.
But I know if I put myself out there, I will do it. Like I'm putting there, I'm telling on myself, and it gives me that extra but to say, hey, listen, dude, do what you say you're going to do, or do it, do it, promising yourself and promising the community, essentially. So this really works for me. Some people could say that and not do it. Better believe it. I'll do it. I'll send you.
I can't wait. I'm going to check in. Yeah.
Once I can release it, I'll send you. But I'm doing it tonight, hands down. But what I'm going to do is, as I'm listening to you, I'm just going to piece it off like into little size. And I have, all to do that. And why didn't I think of that? Because I want to be that guy that can just read through it. Well, Pete, your optical nerve doesn't do that. Like I have to, so I just have to be patient with myself and do it. But I literally spent the whole day doing other things and just getting away from this. And I felt like most
So
of the afternoon.
can I there for a second?
Please.
Because I don't think anybody can actually just blow through it. I think it's a fantasy. I just think
I know people who can. So
really, like from beginning to end,
they're really good at what they do. Yeah, but because they can on the fly and get because they're reading as they're speaking. They're reading for 3 lines down, but they just brains work that way, and you kind of have to do that whether you're doing an audiobook or whatever else it is. That's not my genre. I would love to be able to do that, but no,
you're set. Like that. That's I think that's the bigger message. It's like it's very powerful. Just because you don't get there the traditional way doesn't mean that you're not going to get there. And I think that when you understand that bite-sized pieces, you're still doing it. That's amazing.
Thank you for saying that, but it's 1,000% fear. That's what it was. No doubt about it. I've literally been in life and death situations as a police officer like this. Reading out loud in front of people or even on a voiceover really scares me. So I'm just going to piece it off tonight. I'm going to get it done. So I really appreciate you having this talk, Kristina. I feel better already. I'm going to go do it.
I think it's so good. I'm so excited, Peter. It was funny because I was thinking about this. Because procrastination robs us of great things. And sometimes we don't see it. And sometimes we're so caught up in our head and we don't realize. That's Peter's example, but we all have those examples. We all have those pieces. Sometimes we can't just go in and wing it. Like we have to figure out, okay, I never thought I was going to be an author. Now I'm on my second, but it wasn't at first. But it was piece by piece. And I know when I started writing at that particular time, it was just about writing. It didn't make any, it was getting it all out. And then I was like, okay, we had to piece it all together. And, maybe people can do it the other way. Maybe they can just write one way beginning to end. But that was not this girl. I was inspired and I just went with it. And I want you to understand that you can do that as well. And then I'm going to bring Sarah up and see what Sarah has to say. But guys, the more we can be empowered not to procrastinate, the more we're not robbing ourselves of greatness. I really want you to think about that. Hey, Sarah, how's it going?
Hey, Kristina, it's going good. What a great topic.
Thanks. So what are your thoughts, my dear?
So many thoughts. I actually was inspired when Peter came on. So from the language, like procrastinator or to procrastinate or being lazy, those are like really hard words for me. I'm high functioning. And one of the things I've learned as I've been uncovering solutions to get through those things that need to get done, it's a little bit more than just being lazy. It's not that. A lot of times it's similar to what Peter was about, chunking it down into smaller bits. I know for me, I freeze and I will be stuck and I will be in like complete shutdown if I don't know where to start. It took me like maybe 7 months to get going with my taxes because I couldn't figure out how down the principal versus the interest on that because it wasn't in the website, and it took me forever to figure it out, and the thought of where am I supposed to input these. So I had to eventually break it down and write down each step before I could move through it. Or when it comes to like simple tasks, you were saying that helps me so much is I stage everything. Like right now, like midway through a move and things that I knew that I needed. Okay, I'm moving. I can drop stuff off this day. I'm dog sitting, so I'm not going to be able to sleep there till this day, which means I'm not going to be able to touch it. So I need a place to sleep. So I need my air mattress and I want my bed set up and I want these things here in my toiletries, and I like stage everything out, and I may not get it completely done, but I do little blips of it. I'm also an entrepreneur, and I've learned if I don't stage in planning ahead, I fail. Like my big, you don't plan, you plan to fail. And that is like my thing. I will stage the tiniest thing if I know I have a little bit of a bigger day, which I do take the time to look and see, okay, what's in the day? Oh, this one is giving me like high conflict. Let me break a couple of the steps down. Or let me prep over here and just set my coffee and my almond milk over here to the side so it's already ready and I bought myself more time. Or whatever it is. But the staging, the planning ahead helps me so much. And when I'm like completely shut, like totally like even the task, I like go with, I'm like, all right, we need smaller steps. I can't see this step at all. Let's break it into tiny little bits. And I may start with the easiest step, but being able to see that movement feels so much better than like just being the big task and getting nothing done.
I agree with that. I love the along the way because it does build that momentum. You're like, I can do this. And then it's almost like a treasure trail, right? Like, so you're closer and closer to the bigger task. And I think that, yeah, I use that technique. I think, we don't not doing anything or pushing off, we're really putting ourselves at a disadvantage because then you have shame around it on top of it, right? So it's not even just, oh, I have a project to do. It's like now I yourself up because you can't seem to figure it out. And it just gets heavier and heavier.
And it's way heavier because now you're carrying shame, and then the fact that the project's not done. And then don't even like add in how Laura was saying about the perfectionist part. Like that's enough to kill you. Like when it's not perfect, it's so frustrating. And you're like, I had this vision for the way this was supposed to look. It's another piece that I've had I still fight with is getting it
in a perfect way. I'm assuming that's what you were going to say, Sarah, and I agree. So this is a big thing for me because you are winning even if you are making a move and doing something. All this weird conditioning around perfectionism, this is what I've always said, it's a self-limiting belief. Because what happens, and this is a big pet peeve of mine, I'm just being completely transparent, like I always, is that perfectionists love to be the criticizers. Like, oh, you do that? That's not perfect around the edges. And I'm like, at least I did something. At least I moved. At least I didn't procrastinate. And when you get stronger, that noise that you have in your ear, but also those that are around you that want to nitpick and they're kind of say, you just ignore them. Because I feel like a lot of those individuals get stuck in never doing anything, but they seem to have so much to say about everything. Like, let's say you moved your patio furniture or you painted it or you painted a room and they'll do anything. They'll never take the risk. They'll never jump because they're paralyzed in the perfectionism. But my little pro tip for you is just do something. Just move the dial. And I promise you, you're going to be so proud of yourself because you moved it along. And yeah, it might not be perfect, but who cares, right? Because you're doing something. And then the next one you'll fine tune and then you'll refine and it'll get better and better. But what you're doing as well, there's a level of self-trust that you know that, well, at least I'm doing something. At least I'm not sitting in it and just feeling this heaviness, and the more and more heaviness you're putting on yourself that makes you feel awful. So I don't want to be that person. I don't want to be the nitpicker. And if you are, then I'm sending you so much love right now. Is that working for you? Don't you want to go out there and like just give it a go? Maybe break it into a bite-sized piece and see how far you can get. Trust yourself. You're very, very capable, do amazing, amazing things, have an impact in this world. I want you to understand, every single one of you. But when we are procrastinating our decisions of today and putting it off, you are only hurting your future self, and you're making your future self feel awful and shameful. That is nonsense. We're not doing that anymore, ladies and gents. We are actually going to be empowered to break it into bite-sized pieces and at least make a move, and whatever that is. Okay, you beautiful. I will pause here. What an amazing conversation. I'm always feeling very inspired by all of you, and thank you for coming up and sharing your stories. They're awesome, just awesome, because it shows you we're not in it alone. There's community here, and we're all here to help and support and really understand that shame only happens when we sit there and we think we're alone and there's something wrong with us or we're broken. Why can't I do it? Why can't I do those taxes? Right? You're not alone. It's a bigger issue where maybe you don't have bite-sized pieces in place. Maybe you don't have systems in place to really simplify that for you. Maybe you haven't had that conversation with your future self as to, hey, where do I want to go? And am I making great decisions today? But you can today to really understand that a lot of those delays that you've been putting off, they're all because there's fear hidden beneath it. So just take a step today in whatever direction. If it is doing, if it is going for that job, if it is to do the taxes, if it is to clean your house, go for it. No one's saying it has to be perfect. Absolutely not. It's going to be messy, and that's okay. Because all you're trying to do is to give yourself some relief, and all you're trying to do is to build up your trust in yourself that you are capable and so empowered to make change in your life this very moment. All right, you beautiful souls. Thank you so much for being with me. And I hope that you guys are working on your projects. Okay, talk to you then. Bye.